Okay, good morning. This is Jennifer Crowley. I am co-author of the Life Care Management Handbook and co-founder of the Life Care Management Institute. And I have my colleague, friend, and co-author, Shauna Huber, with me today. And we have a special guest with us. We are honored to have Christine Seager with Christine Seager Coaching with us. Christine is a professional coach who supports people by helping them to see what's truly in their hearts. So, sorry about that. Hold on a second. Let me start over. Christine is a professional coach who supports people by helping them to see what's truly in their hearts so they can live their lives with ease and grace. Trained at the Rigorous Academy for Coaching Excellence, she is a member of the International Coach Federation. Before life coaching, Christine earned her nursing degree at Plattsburgh State University and was a nurse for many years, including in the emergency room and as a clinical documentation specialist and nurse manager. Hi, Christine.
Hello, ladies. How are you today?
Good.
Hello, good morning.
So, Christine, care management is a special field of work with professionals who have often started their careers doing one thing and then decided for whatever reason to embark on a new path toward entrepreneurship. Your story is really interesting. You actually quit your job and then you took the time to explore what your true passion was and later decided where your efforts would be placed. I want you to tell us a little bit about what that experience was like.
Well, it was really great at first. I was very excited and fortunate to have the ability and finances to take time off. I really felt like I had to separate myself from my management position. I felt like I needed time to let that aspect of me go. And so that's why I resigned first, but I didn't realize how fast we were going to tap into our savings. So it was awesome at first, but then it was a little bit financially difficult. So I actually wound up going back to work. I worked remotely from home for another 6 to 8 months before I was able to fully transition to full-time coaching.
Nice. What do you think are the biggest challenges when considering a career change or embarking on something new?
You know, I was surprised at how much of my identity was tied to that job and that position. I struggled to stay in touch with some of my friends and coworkers from the hospital. And so that was quite a challenge, actually. I had to find other means to socialize and to stay in touch with people. But another challenge, if you're in a leadership or management position, you really want to make sure that you're having a safe transition for your staff. I had a right-hand person that I kind of was always making sure that she was enabled to run the position and to tell the other staff what to do over the years, but especially more as I was gearing up to step away from my job. So I think having like a safe transition for your staff and coworkers is really helpful. It helps your boss and it also helps your staff to not be concerned that you're going to be leaving, or at least not as concerned as they would be. And also it was hard. You know, it was a job that I really liked, but I definitely felt like there was something more and better and different for me to do. So I was glad that I did it, and I definitely made the right decision, but it was a little bit difficult. It was more difficult than I thought it would be to step away from.
Thanks, Christine. And so one of the questions I had, so the work as a life care manager involves being confident as a professional, both in healthcare and business, while helping individuals and families come to terms with their new normal, navigating through complex issues and helping create a care plan for optimal well-being. It seems like there are some similarities between what a care manager does and what a professional coach does. So how do you help someone through the fog and help find clarity? And do you have any tips for others during these times of stress or at low points in their life?
Yeah, for sure. One way to help see through the fog is to really pay attention and listen to your heart. A good question that I ask myself frequently is this coming from fear or love? Because it's normal for our brains to kind of get anxious and worry and have fear about anything that's new or different anytime. It doesn't have to be something tremendous. It could be just something very small, but something new and different. Our brains are like, no thanks, we're safe here, we're good, let's not do that. So you really have to have the courage and strength to step past that. And, you know, it's good to pay attention to that fear, to know that it's like an alarm, but then you have the choice about how you want to react to it. And how to get through stress or low periods. I would say a couple questions you can ask yourself is what's really important to you, and focus on that. You know, we don't have to do all the things. I think a lot of times we have a lot of plates spinning in the air at once. But even if you just pick 1 or 2 tasks to focus on, or 1 or 2 things to do, what's most important to you, again, follow your heart, and then just do 1 task and move on to the next. And celebration, actually, when you do that 1 task, and you know, take a minute to celebrate it, and then take that positive energy into the next thing that you want to accomplish. Makes it a lot easier.
Great advice. That was wonderful. And what do you suggest for care managers interested in learning life coaching skills to help their clients with greater ease or add another income stream to their practice?
Yeah, I would say do your research. It's good to find an accredited program. The International Coach Federation is the gold standard for accreditation for coaching worldwide, not just here. And, you know, they accredit both the programs and the individual coaches. So doing research is good. And then just find the program that fits with you and your schedule the best. The program that I did had 4-day intensives. So I was able to fly to Sacramento from Montana and spend 4 days there 4 times. And then the rest of my training was online. I believe that's changed now due to COVID. Of course, there's probably a lot more options, but make sure that the schedule to get trained fits in with your work-life balance also.
Great tips. Christine, you know I get what you do. I've shared this before with you, but when I was starting out in my business, I struggled to get going. As it turns out, it was like 15 years ago. I'll be celebrating my 15th anniversary coming up, but I still remember it very clearly of the amount of fear I had, a lot of fear of failure, a fear of being embarrassed because my big idea didn't make it. I hired a professional coach and worked with her for 6 months. It was one of the most impactful, most important decisions I've ever made. I've been fortunate to work with you recently in a guided book study. It was another great experience, and with a professional coach, so thank you. You talk about the monkey mind and the thoughts spinning in your head that keep you from gaining clarity, just the fog that we kind of already talked about. Can you help understand what monkey mind is and ways to overcome or manage the monkey mind?
Sure. So monkey mind is a Buddhist term. It's also known as the negativity bias. I kind of mentioned it's like when you're doing anything new or different, your brain automatically wants to just stop and stay where you are. It's kind of part of that fight, flight, or freeze reaction. It's a natural first response. So I think the best way to handle it really is to just know that it's a thing and know that it's normal. And then to know that you have the choice of deciding how to deal with it. So you can either listen to it and stop, or you can learn how to step past it. So some of the ways to step past it is, again, just recognize it. I like to journal a lot. I like to think on paper. So I write all of my thoughts and feelings down on paper. And then I take each one at a time and sort of mitigate it. So I say, is this true? Is this actually happening right now? Is it present? So as I mentioned, something that's happening right now. And then again, focusing on what's most important to you. So, and it's not just a matter of focusing on it, it's also a matter of taking action. So if you have a situation that's scary, you know, like for example, I'll use myself when I was quitting my job. I wrote down all my fears. Of course, finances was a big one. And I made a list of what my options were and what I could do to help keep my family financially afloat while I was choosing to be unemployed for at least 6 months. And so I wrote down options, and then I had to remember to stay present. You know, is this actually happening right now? Are we paying the bills? Do I have what I need at this moment? We have a house and clothes and food and all the necessities, right? That's why I'm very, very fortunate. So just remembering to stay present, to not worry about what might happen in the future. It's good to plan for the worst case scenario, but also to stay present and stay within that. And then taking small action steps toward it. So like when I was getting uncomfortable financially, I found another job that I could still do from home where I can do coaching on the side for a while to help us stay better afloat. So it's just a matter of sorting through it, really writing down all your thoughts and feelings, asking yourself, is it true and present, and then continuing to focus on what's most important.
You know, I find that it takes a lot of practice, don't you think, to you learn to work with a journal or journaling, like you said, it's so important for so many people. Some people it's just natural, and others you really have to kind of find these methods and kind of stick with it. So.
Yeah. And like, you know, just because you mitigated one set of circumstances doesn't mean it's not going to come up again. Some small thing might change and you're like, oh, I already thought I worked through this already, but something else is it's happening, or each day or each moment is a different, like, oh, what about this? So yeah, it's definitely practice.
What are some tools or strategies that you use to stay on top of your game, or at least feel balanced and in control? I know you already just mentioned like journaling and just trying to stay present, but when things aren't going that great, or maybe you just feel overwhelmed, is there any go-to strategies or things that you do?
Yeah, so gratitude is the biggest thing. And I kind of hesitate to bring that up sometimes because it seems so cliche, but it's so true. I really love the book Buddha's Brain by Dr. Rick Hanson, in which he talks about, he talks about the neuroscience behind our thoughts and feelings, but also he talks about looking for the good, to practice gratitude, to savor the experience, so sit with it, don't just move right on to the next thing, and to take a moment to really absorb it, like a sponge would absorb water. And I really love that, because the more you practice gratitude in those ways, the easier it is to find things to be grateful for. And you can find things to be grateful for in every moment, just looking around. And, you know, I used to be like, I'm grateful for my relationships, but except for that one time when my sister ticked me off, you know, and so that's not where you want to be, right? You want to stay on the positive side and find the good things and really absorb and soak it in and sit with it for a couple of minutes, or even just a couple of seconds. And I like journaling, as we mentioned. When I'm really struggling, I will sit down and write a list of things that I'm grateful for. I have specific words. Some people do a word of the year, but I have a couple of words that I kind of rotate through. So currently my words are grateful, sufficient, fun, and extraordinary. So I just write down ways, how can I find sufficiency in my life right now? How can I have more fun in my life right now? Even just in this day or this moment. What's something that I can do that would be extraordinary right now? And I always feel better when I write that down. It's like you can't stay upset or overwhelmed. And again, for overwhelm, you know, I talk about journaling and some people are like, I don't have time to journal. That's fine. You can take a sticky note or something and just jot down a couple of words or things, or just take a moment. And when I feel overwhelmed, I just pick one thing to focus on. Just pick one thing to do. I like to write lists, so I'll have a page long, you know, list of things that I should do. But just pick one, even if it's just the easiest thing to get started. You take that one, you do it, and you celebrate and roll into the next one, and it makes it so much easier.
Thanks, Christine. And thank you for taking time to meet with us. We look forward to helping so many. And thank you for your contribution to the Life Care Management Handbook. I learned so much just from reading your work. And how can anyone interested in getting in touch with you or learn more about your coaching and program?
Yeah, so I'm on the internet, just at ChristineSeager.com. It's spelled ChristineSeager. I'm on Instagram at Christine Seager _, and I'm on Facebook at Christine Seager Coaching. And I would like to thank you guys for this opportunity. Jennifer, I know you better than Shauna, and it's always, you know, you've always been an inspiration to me, your hard work and perseverance, and I love your energy and all the things that you do. So thank you guys both so much for including me in this. I really appreciate it. And I know the work that you're doing for life care managers is going to be extremely helpful for years and years to come.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. And if you guys are interested in purchasing the book or learning more, you can go to www.lcmexpert.com. Have a great rest of your day.